So we got the sounds of summer going, chainsaws, lawnmowers. I'm about to contribute myself in a little while. So here are the bricks that I'm going to use for the shed base. They say to use a 2x4 base, or you can use a plywood or a concrete, 4-inch concrete. I have these, I'm going to reuse them. They're 16 by 16, 2-inch I believe is the thickness, and I had them for another project that they were given to me years ago. Been having them just sit behind the shed, and I'm going to put them to better use. So what I'm going to do is dig these up, which is pretty easy because I didn't bury them. Use my wheelbarrow to move them over to the spot that I'm going to place them. So last night I started digging this up, trying to get it level. I did pick up a couple bags of paver sand, which I think is a rip-off. It looks pretty much like Playhouse or Sandbox sand, play sand, but 3 times the cost. I'm using a steel pole, I think it's 1.5 by 1.5 steel tubing, and I have my level on top. It doesn't have to be perfect because the shed actually has a base. My plan is to go all the way as left to this 2x4 as possible. I can't go right to it because of where it joins, but a couple inches to it, and then that gives me about 4 foot from the fence. And what I'm going to do there is I'm going to put like a little gate, make something up so I can store some of my lawn waste garbage cans, just so they're out of sight. And I have them normally, you can see them probably way in the back by the shed, and again, it's just a pain in the ass to have to keep on walking back and forth just to throw some leaves away. So it looks like that'll work out. And then I have this approach or apron, whatever they refer to that as, where the doors will open out. It'll be facing, the doors will be, here, and they'll open out. And what that gives me is a lot of space here to be able to bring my mower, both my push mower and the rider if I wanted to use it, and go through these access doors. I'm gonna have to rebuild this gate, but it should work out pretty good. Take this and make it as level as I can. I have a couple stampers to pound it down, wet it, pound it down, throw some sand, do a final pass, and then start laying out the bricks. My goal is to get this thing completed today. It's already taken me longer than I thought. So last night I broke out the 2 large boxes, tried to get things organized, did some pre-assembly. There's a metal truss. There's actually 2. I assembled one. I have to assemble the other one today. The gable ends, some assembly, some screwing together, and some miscellaneous parts. The doors, there's a lot of hardware that you have to assemble and thread the rods through. And I'm just going to get everything organized, as much pre-installed or assembled as I can, lined up, so that when the weather warms up a little bit, maybe in an hour, 2 hours or so, I'll go out there, throw it on the floor, put that together. There's like a million screws to go with that, and start throwing it up. At least I won't have to sit there in the cold and again trying to put some of this hardware or assemble the gables and so on. So that's my plan. So this is the first time I've put one of these plastic sheds together. The walls were a pain in the ass. They have these little notches they got to pop into. I really think I probably could have built a wood shed probably cheaper and just as fast. A million, maybe 2 million screws. I'll show you pretty much everything is fastened by these screws, and there's just millions of them. The nice thing is once it's done, there's no staining, there's no painting. It's pretty much done. To lock down the roof panel, the sidewall. So project complete. I'll give you guys a walk around. Now this is the Lifetime 8 by 7.5 foot. Bought it at Sam's Club for $7.99. And the reason I positioned it where I did right here is because this here used to be where I kept my RV. I have electricity and water over there, and we may buy another one in a couple of years, another RV that is. So I want the ability to move this around. This shed is lightweight. I can take it off in sections and move it back 15-20 feet if needed. And in the back here, I'm planning to do a raised garden. So I have water, electricity. I'm not planning to use electricity, but I have water for the garden. And it'll turn this, what I deemed as an eyesore, into hopefully a focal point. And the reason I pushed it this way a bit is because those are my lawn garbage cans. And I'm gonna build some kind of a gate fence over there for that to kind of block it off. And this should come in handy. See guys, this is up front where I use it the most for, common lawn tools, my push mower for the front yard. And I also have a nice spot up here to work on, taking my lawnmower blades off, changing my oil, and whatnot. So, it also allows me access to my front yard via the gate. So I didn't want to put it too far forward or too far back because again, I want space back here for a garden. My normal shed is way back there. As you can see, that's kind of a hike, and this will make it a lot more easier to access and to do these videos once in a while too. It'll help out. This is an 8.5 by 7 feet, 8 by 8 in the width, 7.5 feet deep. And I don't recommend doing what I did as far as the base. I use a 16 by 16 by 2 inch patio blocks. I had these in the back behind the old shed back there, and I tried to get it as best level as I could. And if it was a patio, it'd be more than adequate. Once I got this thing complete, the door here, the right door, was sticking way up here. It was so out of whack, and this left door was way down, about right here. It was way out of whack. The instructions says to balance the doors up and down just to make them aligned. There's these bushings on both sides. You can put the shims underneath them to lift one door up or the other. I was way far from that. So what I ended up doing is, you can see over here on the left side, because again, this right side was sticking up about, I don't know, ½ inch, and this was down about ¼ inch. What I did is shimmed it. I'll show you guys. And these come in so handy. These are just traditional nail pullers. And what I did is I stuck this in like that, put a little pressure on it, took a couple shims and shoved them underneath this wall. That's why you can see that there's a bit of a gap right here. right here. And I did the same thing on the back opposite corner. So if you guys can see, we're on the back. This is the opposite corner. I did the same thing over here. You can see that this is lifted up. You probably can't see the shim, but I inserted 2 shims in there. And that got me pretty decent. After that, I took a shim on the left, like the instruction says, like where it's at right now, popped it in here just to kind of get it more level as far as lining up the door. It's not 100%, but it's good enough. If I had to do this all over again, even though I have those bricks, I would have built a 2x4 plywood base. It would only been like, I don't know, $100. It would have been way, way, way less work. But that's the other thing. I spent hours and hours getting this thing level and pounding it and redoing it. Just wasn't worth it. Save your time, save your money, and you have a better product if you build a base out of 2x4s and plywood. The shed overall, initially, it went together pretty decent. I probably spent 2 hours the night before getting things ready, and some of the instructions, the first, I don't know, 5, 8 steps, like assembling the doors and the hardware. So I was able to get a jump start on that, and the next morning I jumped on it about 9 in the morning. It took almost a complete day. I think I finished at like 5-ish, maybe 6 o'clock p.m. that following day. So basically all the next day by myself. The only time I had help was when my wife helped me kind of hang the doors. It was kind of a 2-person job. One of the things that really sucked about this is the roof. Trying to get these in, they sit in a groove. They don't necessarily just slide in, and you got to kind of pound them. And this thing's it's durable for what it is, but it really doesn't take the pounding too much as far as with your hand, not with a hammer. But I got it. The other thing is be careful. I did a lot of hand screws because with the clutch, I'll show you guys. Let me open this thing up. I got to get a better lock. This is just some Ruger one I had for my 1022. I've never used. So the door opens, the right door. This is one of the things I don't like about this thing. Door kind of works its way closed. I'm gonna have to figure out something for that. And then there's these tabs on the top and the bottom, and spring-loaded wheels. To open it up. Now it comes with the shelf. And the shelf does a couple things. One, it gives you a place to put things on, but the other thing is it kind of holds the side walls and the back wall all kind of together. But these screws, look at how many screws. And I did use a drill driver for some of it, but you really have to use it by hand. There's nothing like feel, because some of these plastic pieces, you go to drill it and it'll either be too much and it's kind of stripped out, or not enough, meaning the clutch clicks, but you still have to bring those pieces kind of closer together. So it's not like the human hand. It doesn't have that sensitivity. And I have a decent drill driver. Pay extra attention to some of these top bolts, these screws. They're very, very, very lightweight, and you will strip them out. I actually stripped one out on here. I think it was, look, it fell out, that one right there. I was even being careful. Here it is right there. I was even being careful, and I still screwed that one up, and by hand, not a drill driver, by hand. I will fix that with something, maybe caulking or some liquid weld, plastic weld. But it's exactly what I was looking for. It's enough room for a couple gas cans, my sprayer, blower, edger, all these things I use for my front lawn primarily, snow blower, spray bottles, small fertilizers, shovels, and it does come with these hooks. The hooks are so-so. They're not bad, but they're so-so. And what I mean by that is they don't really fit. And the side walls are like 6 feet tall, so you can't put like the rake's head, or whatever you call the top of the rake, the business part of the rake. It won't fit with the ceiling, so that's why the rake is sitting on the ground. But it will fit like a shovel and things like that. It also has a window. It might be hard to see, but you can see right here. See this? It's plastic. It's got like a little bent angle here that you can kind of grab a hold of and slide up and down. I don't use it too much, but if it's getting hot in here, and I guess if you're in here as a potting shed, maybe that makes a difference, but I'll probably keep it down. Overall, I like it. I think it'll really serve its purpose, and as you can see, it's serving its purpose now. I'll give you guys an update if that changes, but I really think it's going to work out. All right, well, thanks guys for watching. Take care. Bye.